Good morning. Good morning to you all. The attendees who have took time to join us for today's workshop. It is a research capacity development unit, University of Johannesburg workshop on Faculty of Humanities thesis format and submission procedure. So my name is Dr. Gabriel Monyera. I'm from the postgraduate school, the Research Capacity Development Unit, and I'll be the one moderating the session for today. I would just want, before I continue, by an expression of a virtual thumb that you can all hear me and you can see this video that I've shared with you. All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. So by that said, let me proceed and let me just bring it to your attention that the session is being recorded. And why are we talking about this issue of this is sort of format and submission procedures specifically for the faculty of humanities. I think some of you would remember that at the beginning of the year we did faculty postgraduate faculty processes where you were introduced to some of these issues that we possibly the facilitator is going to talk about today. That sort of relates to certain procedures that are undertaken within the faculty, as well as the procedure that is taken when you are now submitting, be it your proposal or the final outcome of the research that you'll be doing. But we also hold these sort of workshops again during this time, so that we can revisit some of the things that would have been spoken or conversed on during the postgraduate faculty process. So this is a very, very important topic that we think it will be of beneficial to you, as you continue with your postgraduate journey, or for especially maybe possibly for those who are in the write-up stage and for those who are now submitting the outcomes of the research that they will be undertaking. So like I've said, the session is being recorded, and we would also want to thank our facilitator for taking his time to prepare for the session that we are having today. Thank you so much for that. I will review the name of the facilitator when I formally introduce him as we progress with the session. I also want to just go over some housekeeping rules and share some important information with you in terms of the housekeeping rules. If you have any questions during the presentation, please feel free to raise your virtual hand if you would like to speak, or you can simply type a question in the chat box and I will bring it to the attention of the facilitator to address it. But also that is dependent on the preference of the facilitator, whether the sort of prefer questions to be asked during the session or at the end of the session during the open discussion segment or the question and answer segment. Again, we are recording the session, both the recording, the session recording, as well as the slides. Request the slides from the facilitator to upload on our Moodle communities, usually by the end of the week or 3 working days. They have wrapped up that whole process. We will also share a feedback survey during the course of the session in the chat section, and we kindly ask you to complete that feedback survey. That is where we will get information, for those who have attended, with their details that we will use to issue a certificate of attendance for this workshop. So kindly fill that feedback survey. And we also want to remind you that we launched the Research Capacity Development Management System during this year, and we are gradually migrating to this new system. So, for those who do not know what the RCDMS is, it is a system, that we are using as the RCD. It is our own system that we use to streamline, the whole research journey, on the side of you as the user, but also streamline our processes as well, our preparation and everything that ensures to make sure that you are able to register for workshops, research writing consultations, and any other events that will be having as the research capacity development unit. And also for you to be able to after attending an event, you are able to generate the certificate of attendance on your own and download. Unlike what we are doing currently, that we will get your information or your details from the feedback survey, then we generate a certificate of attendance and send it to you. So the RCDMS is more like a one-stop access for all our events and services as the research capacity development unit. You can register to utilize the system that you can access through the U-Link under the Services tab or by visiting the rcdms.uj.ac.za. Let me take this time to introduce our facilitator for today, Dr. Themba Madingiza. Let me read his bio in your hearing. So Dr. Themba Madingiza holds a PhD in African languages. I'll read his bio in your hearing. Born and bred in Johannesburg, Themba Madlenkosi Madingiza is a lecturer at the UJ's Department of African Languages. He holds a PhD in African languages. He has published academic articles and book chapters focusing on the intersection of isiZulu, literature, gender, and culture. Dr. Madingiza has also organized and facilitated academic events aimed at preserving African heritage in today's era. He teaches and supervises postgraduate students and has experience instructing both mother tongue and non-mother tongue speakers of isiZulu. Dr. Madingiza believes that language is a crucial link between identity and history, and he strives to inspire everyone to recognize the importance of preserving their linguistic roots. You can just hear for yourself, this is a very, very rich biography, and thank you, Dr. Madingiza, for accepting our invitation and for agreeing to facilitate the session for today. And having read his bio in your hearing, I'm now going to not waste any further time, but to hand over to Dr. Themba Madingiza, who will be leading us throughout the session for today. And Dr. Madingiza, I'm happy to hand over to you. And once again, thank you for agreeing to facilitate the session for today. I'll stop sharing my slides and you can share your slides. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Munyera. That was a lovely welcome. Yeah, I feel at home. Good morning to everyone who's here, our students, master's students, PhD students, fellow colleagues. Thank you so much to the RSD team for inviting me. I hope that you can all hear me before I start sharing the slides. Please indicate.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes.
Maybe an indication as well from the participants, just by, yes, I can see some thumb expressions. Yes. You can go on there.
Okay.
Doc, are you still with us? Dr. Madingiza, are you still with us? Okay, Okay, let's just to the participants, we'll wait for Dr. Madingiza to join us again. I can see he's here with us in the meeting, but we cannot hear anything from him. So we'll just await, give him a bit of a moment to just for him maybe to organize if it's a technical fault and rejoin us. Let me also try to make contact from this side. Dr. Madingisa, can you now hear me? So to the participants, we are just waiting for Dr. Madingisa to rejoin us. I'm also trying to contact him from this side so that we can sort of establish, what is it that is, the if there's anything that is affecting, that we should be able to hear him from this side. So I think maybe it's just a technical fault, but we'll just wait for him to rejoin and speak to us. Thank you for your patience.
Yes, Doctor. There is an update in the chat. I don't know if you saw that one.
Oh, hello. Can you hear me now? Okay, sorry about that.
Yes, Doc, we can now hear you.
Yes, I seem to be having a problem with my laptop. Is my presentation showing? Because I'm using my phone now.
It's not yet showing. I think you can share the presentation with us.
Okay, I'll share it with you and then I'll continue via the phone. I don't know what's happening with this laptop. It was fine all along.
Is it okay? Sometimes mine, when I experience that, I just restart it.
Uh, yes, I know. Just to save time, let me just email the presentation to you and then you can share.
Okay, that will be fine. I will do that.
Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you, Doc.
Okay.
Let me just okay. I've opened my email. I'll wait to receive it.
Okay, just a second. Mm. I just sent it, Doc. Can you see it?
I'm just awaiting to receive it.
Okay, okay.
Let me also just restart the email as well, the Outlook, so that I don't miss it.
All right, all right.
I'm just waiting, maybe to just take a moment to reach me. Let me, Doc. There are some questions that I see there on the chat. Okay. One of it was saying there is a bio in the email. Are you an expert in languages? That's what the bio says. I don't know whether is it a question directed to you or
in isiZulu, but I do have a good knowledge of other African languages under the Nguni and the Sotho groups.
okay. I think it will be a very engaging session because I see questions already starting before you even spoke. Yeah. I'm still awaiting. Did you send to RCD inquiries, though?
Yes,
Okay.
I sent it in the same conversation we had in the morning where I sent the flyer. I'm just trying to join again using my laptop.
Lawrence, can you see anything from your side?
Not yet from my side. I don't see any slides.
Yes, the slides.
Not yet. I don't see anything via email yet.
Okay, let me resend it. If my laptop is suddenly doing wonders now.
Because I just refreshed the email, so maybe it'll arrive. So let me just double check. Still nothing.
Okay, I'm going to resend it.
Okay.
I've just sent it. Please check if you're receiving it.
Yeah, I haven't received anything. Let me refresh again.
Yes, I think it has come through now.
It has.
Yes.
On RCD inquiries.
Yes, and in your email as well.
Okay, on mine it hasn't shown. Okay, now all right, now it's there. Okay, let me just download it, and I'll be sharing it just now.
Okay, sure.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm just opening it. Okay, there it is. Okay, all right. Doc, does it have any sound?
No, there's no sound.
There's no sound. Okay. Okay, I'm now sharing it in presenter mode. If you can see it, including the participants as well, just show me by virtual thumb or just by. Okay, you can see it.
Yes, I can see it.
All right, so Doc, you just direct me when you need me to change.
Yes. And go to the introduction.
To the introduction, all right? Right.
Yes. Okay. Yes, can you hear me that side?
Yes, from this side I can hear you. Can the participants also just express if you can hear?
All right. No, thumbs up. That's great.
That's
Okay,
perfect.
let's do business. Without further ado, sorry about that. It's the technicalities. You never know when such will happen. So in today's workshop, we are going to demystify the administrative and formatting requirements for completing your master's or doctoral degree in the Faculty of Humanities. So I will be addressing, MA students and PhD students. Myself, I'm a former master's and PhD student. Actually, I'm a new doc. I got graduated last week, so I'm quite new to this doc thing. I've been a mister throughout all my life. So what we're going to do again in today's workshop is that we're going to navigate the final stages of your degree, being an MA or PhD, which can be complex. But again, also want to understand the procedures and required documentation, which is crucial for a smooth journey, from submission to your graduation. So our goal in today's workshop is to provide you with a clear step-by-step guide to ensure your hard work is presented correctly and processed efficiently. Please show the other notes, Gabriel. It should be make the slide to show all the notes. Slide number 3. There's some information which I mentioned there. Yes, the last yes. So that's what I've just spoken to. So next we're going to look at the learning outcomes of today's workshop, which is slide number 4. Thank you, Gabriel. So please move on to slide number 4. Okay, so the outcomes for today's workshop is to identify the correct templates and formatting requirements for your mini dissertation if you are registered for master's coursework, dissertation if you are registered for master's research, full research, or if it's a thesis, which is for a PhD level. You should also be able to understand the key administrative milestones in the higher degrees processes, be able to navigate the procedure for submitting a document for assessment, being your dissertation or thesis. And last but not least, you should be able to recognize the requirements for the final submission after examination, including the compulsory oral defense for PhD students. So these are the learning outcomes for today's session. Doc, can we move on to the next slide, the next topic, which is the foundation, your research proposal. Am I still audible that side? Okay. Okay, so I take it that at this stage, if you are closer to submitting your work, you have passed through your proposal phase. If perhaps you are new as a master's or PhD student, this is the starting to 5 months, because as a student, once you register in February, by June, you expect to submit your proposal, which makes it like 5 months or less. So I take it at this stage, if you are new, you're a first year master student, you've already submitted your proposal and perhaps it has been approved. If you are a doctoral student, you are given 9 months to submit your proposal, which the due date is the next month in September, which makes it the ninth month of the year, of course. So even there too, it's not really 9 months, it's like 7 to 8 months, which you're given as a PhD student to complete your proposal. So these are the key components which have to accompany your proposal, is that you have to sign a supervisor-student agreement. So I hope all the candidates we have here have seen this agreement and have signed it. If not, they need to inquire with the supervisor to get hold of this document and have it signed. This is to make sure that we have a working agreement between you and your supervisor. We are going to move on to the next slide, slide number 7. I'm going to continue talking about the key components in this journey. So it is important that your proposal is approved by your departmental higher degrees committee, the DHDC, before it is signed and approved by the faculty higher degrees committee, the FHDC. So these are the the abbreviations which I'll be using throughout this workshop. So please bear in mind that these words are quite too long, so they've been shortened, and this is how they appear in the official documents. What you also need to make sure of is that if your research does involve humans or animal subjects, and it must be reviewed, so it has to be approved by the Faculty Research Ethics Committee to make sure that you get an ethical clearance. Without this approval, data collection cannot begin. So it's important that students who involve humans or animals in their studies, they need to get an ethical clearance, from the ethics committee. And what is important to remember is that your final dissertation or thesis title must match the title on your approved proposal, unless a title change has been formally approved via the one-stop form. So when we talk about the one-stop form, which we will get into in detail, is that form which is used for any administrative purposes regarding your studies. So it's your to-go-to form. So make sure that the title which appears in your dissertation or thesis is the same one which appears in your proposal. So that's very important. So I've covered, the foundation, which is your research proposal. Next, we're going to look at structuring your documents, the templates. So these templates, I don't have them shown here, but at the end of the workshop, I will share a link with you where you can access templates which must be used for compiling your master's dissertation or your PhD thesis. So all these documents are available, in the UJ's Faculty of Humanities website. So when it comes to putting together your research in one document, you have to be consistent. Consistency is key. So the Faculty of Humanities provides specific templates to ensure uniformity and professionalism. Please use the correct one for your degree. So if you have registered for a coursework master's, make sure that you're using the mini dissertation template. If it's for a full research master's, make sure that you're using the dissertation template. If it's for a doctoral degree, make sure that you're using the thesis template. What's also important here is the structure, how your document has to be structured. So the first page of your dissertation or thesis is the title page. So this title page has to include, the full title of your study, your name and surname, your full name and surname, your student number, the qualification you've registered for, the department, your department, your faculty, being humanities here, the name of your supervisor, and also include the submission date. So this forms the first page of your dissertation or thesis, and this page should not be numbered. So there shouldn't be any numbering on this page. So what follows the cover page, being the next page, which we're on slide number 10 now, it's the affidavit. So this is a compulsory document. It has to be signed and commissioned. It has just to be declared by the Commissioner of Oaths that your work is original. And this is a very critical document. It's a binding document. in the Faculty of Humanities, we do have a Commissioner of Oaths. His name is Mr. Boardman. Yeah, he's the gentleman who helped me with signing my affidavit for my thesis. Yeah, I actually completed my PhD last year with people. So I remember going through this process. So if you don't want to go to the police station, you can, of course, go to Mr. Portman. He's in the Faculty of Humanities. So what follows your affidavit is the abstract. So this is the concise summary of your research. It's very important that your abstract, it goes straight to the point. It includes your research methodology and your findings. Those are very key important issues which must reflect in the abstract. And the purpose of the abstract is to help, future researchers or anyone researching around your topic to quite understand what your study is about in a glimpse. Some people don't have the whole time to be reading the whole dissertation or thesis, but giving them a concise, a brief abstract, it does give them an idea what your study is about and if they want to engage further with it. So it must be really attractive. So after the yes.
If maybe possibly you can take, as I've seen a hand from Juliet for some time, if you can maybe possibly address only that end.
Okay, it's fine. Yes, Juliet, you can ask your question, ma'am.
Yeah. Juliet, I've allowed your mic. You can unmute and ask your question. Juliet, can you hear us? You can unmute yourself and ask your question. Okay, Doc, we can proceed.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Maybe it was just a thumbs up. Okay.
Yes. All right. Thank you, Doc.
Yes, thank you, Doc. So I was just talking about the abstracts now. We're going to move on to the next section, which is the acknowledgements. So this is a section where you give a personal thank you, to those, who've supported you throughout your journey as, a master's or PhD student. Following this section is the table of contents, where you need to list, which is a list of tables or figures, as appearing, in your study, where we get to know how many chapters does your research have, etc. Then following the table of contents, it's when your research begins. This is your chapter one. It's your chapters, your chapter one, your introduction, which would be normally followed by your research methodology, your literature review, discussion chapters, and all the way to the conclusion. After the concluding chapter of your study, you need to include a reference list or bibliography. Usually at UJ, we use the Harvard referencing method. So please do make sure that you adhere to that referencing style. Then following your bibliography, well, this is optional. You may have appendices, extra information, which, was used in your study. So this is basically the structure, the format of a master's dissertation or PhD thesis. I think I'm going to pause a bit. I saw a hand. I think I saw a hand, Doc Gabriel.
Yes, it's from Damilola. You can ask your question. I've allowed your mic.
Hello.
Oh, hello, sir.
You can hear me, right?
Yes, perfectly. You can go ahead.
Okay. I'm around. I'm very far into my paper, and the structure I've taken is that each of my chapters have a reference list of their own. Is that okay?
Yes, no, that is expected to have in-text references for each and every chapter. once you compile your entire document, it could be MA or PhD thesis. At the end, that's when you would list all of the sources which have been used in the entire, research. So I know that when you're busy with your drafts, the supervisor would say after each and every chapter, please include the sources you've used, include a bibliography so that they can trace back, or they can read the sources you've used themselves. But this bibliography I'm referring to here is the one which is in the final, dissertation or thesis. So which appears at the end of, after the concluding chapter of your study.
The whole list of sources used throughout the paper.
Throughout the dissertation or the thesis.
Okay.
Doc, I
Yes.
just wanted to maybe just contribute something maybe to the difference between the two, a reference list and bibliography. In the context that the bibliography is broad, which means it includes those sources that you would have cited in text and also that you consulted and did not cite. So in other words, the bibliography actually includes the reference list, but the reference list is strictly those sources that you have cited in text that must have a corresponding entry in the reference list. Thank you, Doc. I just wanted to just add to the conversation.
Yes, thank you for adding that, Doc. Yeah, that's accurate. That's how it is. Yeah, exactly the way you've put it, Doc. Yeah, that's how it is. Okay, so I've covered the brief format, of your dissertation or thesis. To get the template, as I said earlier on, I will share a link at the end of the presentation where all these documents, are available, for our students. So next, we're going to look at the word limit for each and every research. So for a mini dissertation, you are required to write 20,000 words, and this normally excludes your cover page and your bibliography or reference list. So this is from the first chapter of your study towards the end, towards the concluding chapter. So this applies to your master's full research, which is 40,000 words. For a PhD thesis, it's 80,000 words. I must mention here again that there is a leeway of 10%, for each and every word limit we have here. For example, if in your PhD thesis you've written 10% less of 80,000 being 72,000 words, your thesis can be accepted for examination, and you can go above the 80,000 by having a 10,000 increase of 80,000, which would be 88,000 words. So just remember that there's that 10% leeway. I think this is because with some students, especially from my own department, they write in African languages such as isiXhosa or isiZulu, which you find that the orthography is different, with those languages compared to English, which would affect the word count. So this section covers the structuring of your document, how to format your document. One thing which I need to mention is that after your cover page, you would normally start adding numbers to your document from the affidavit to the table of content. That's when you would use. That's where you normally use Roman figures. Then from the first chapter of your study, that's when you start using the normal way of numbering, starting from page 1 all the way to the last page of the bibliography list. So all this information, as I said, is available in the link which I will share, because there's a lot to cover in this workshop. So we're going to move on to the next topic and to look at the very important form, which is the one-stop form, which everyone should familiarize themselves with. This form is usually completed together with your supervisor. So this is your to-go-to document. It's crucial. It's a crucial document. It helps you manage your studies, and it must be used for all official requests, regarding your studies. So this document has got it's six sections. So the section A, B, C, D, E, and F. So I'm going to start by discussing section A. Then I move on to the next sections. So regarding section A, this is a part which you usually fill out during your studies. This is when you fill out the document if you want to change the title of your study, or you want to change your supervisor, or perhaps you want to interrupt your studies where you're given a maximum of 12 months and you're only granted that once off. Or perhaps you want to extend your studies, So here, this grant is quite exceptional. You see, this so you have to really go through an exceptional circumstance for you to be granted an extension of your studies. This could be maybe through to health issues, or you were hospitalized, as students, life happens. In this section A, this way you can also change your studies from full-time to part-time, or vice versa. So normally for master's students full-time, it takes 2 years. It's 2 years, 24 months. For PhD students, full-time is 3 years. Then for part-time master's students, it's 3 years, and for PhD students, it's 5 years. So what I've noted here, which is a trend, is that students initially register as a full-time student, thinking that they will complete the studies on time, only to find that life happens. Perhaps you're working and studying at the same time, and you find that you don't have enough time. Then you change from full-time to part-time to add more years. What I should mention here is that if you've taken out a bursary which strictly pays for full-time, for full-time studies, there may be some issues, with that bursary. It may give problems when your fees have to be paid, so you may come across such issues. So please bear in mind, if you're studying using a bursary or a scholarship, if you are not breaking, any rules from changing from full-time to part-time without consulting with your bursary or scholarship. So I'm going to move on to the next slide, where we look at the process of completing the one-stop form. So it is important that you complete the relevant section using the Word version of this form, the one-stop form. So it comes as a Word document. You need to provide a clear motivation and any required supporting documents. This is for interrupting studies, etc. So you need to provide a letter, which comes from your doctor, for example. You need to make sure, actually, this is actually the supervisor and the student. They need to make sure that everyone has signed, the document. All the required signatories are there from the student, supervisor, HOD, and this document has to be submitted to the designated faculty officer. So for each and every discipline, we have in the Faculty of Humanities, per departments, there is a designated faculty officer which takes care of the one-stop form per department. So it is important that all requests made by the student supervisor are approved by the faculty's higher degrees committee. So that's the FHDC. So this is the section A of the one-stop form. I'm now going to move on to section B of the one-stop form, where we're going to look at preparing to submit your dissertation or thesis for assessment. So the very first step, in the one-stop form is that you need to fill out section B of the form. So this section has to be completed at least 4 months before you plan to submit your final dissertation or thesis, meaning that if you are planning to submit, okay, let me just say that the final date to submit, your dissertation or thesis is the end of October for each and every year. So if you plan to submit for exams in October, it means that you and a supervisor should have applied to nominate assessors at least 4 months before October, being around from the month of June. The faculty has to know that you plan to make an application for assessment. So your supervisor will nominate assessors and a non-assessing chair. So a non-assessing chair is usually one of the lecturers, the colleagues of your supervisor within the same department. So your supervisor will choose one of the colleagues in his or her department, which will act as a non-assessing chair. So they take care of all the required documents, regarding your studies, when it's time for assessment. So your supervisor, they will nominate assessors, in consultation with the HOD, and these are the requirements. So for master's coursework, yes, the supervisor must appoint 2 assessors, one of them being, external outside UJ. For a full master's research, there has to be 2 external assessors. One of them must have a PhD, that's a requirement. Then for a PhD study, there has to be 3 external assessors. One of them must come from an international, university. So these are the requirements when it's time to get your study examined. So I'm going to move on to the next slide. So the NAC, which is the non-assessing chair, from your department, will also be appointed to manage the assessment process. So this is when we bring in step 2, which is the section C of the one-stop form. Once your supervisor agrees that your work is ready for submission, they will be granted permission to submit, for assessment. This requires a signature from a supervisor and NAC, and a tenant report must accompany the one-stop form here. So that's what you must know. And in terms of the plagiarism, the percentage which you need to get, previously they would say that you shouldn't get anything above 20%, in terms of plagiarism, but I see that the percentage is going down. I think now it's around 15 towards 10%. Actually, closer to 0% at the better, the better. So that is what I encourage our students, that please, in terms of plagiarism, try to aim for a 0, even though it's quite challenging, because this is basically a similarity report, which you will note that if you put in entire documents, could be a master's or thesis, and turn it in, it will show things like your cover page as being plagiarized, because students share a similar cover page. So what I normally advise is that when you put your document in, turn it in, just submit the first chapter and the concluding chapter of your study, so that you reduce, the percentage of plagiarism. And what I've noted here, which it's quite a new thing, is that there's this new form which I actually did not discuss here. It's the AI declaration form. So students will now be expected to declare the usage of AI in their work. So I'm not too sure if students we have seen that form, maybe from their supervisors. So that is something which you can expect, that you must declare how far have you used AI, in your work, because we are living in an AI era, and it's important to be honest and declare if you've used AI in your work. So this covers the mission process.
There is one hand from ZQ. I'll allow the mic of ZQ. ZQ, you can ask your question. Unmute and ask. ZQ.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, ma'am, can hear you.
Hi, yeah, good afternoon. I just wanted to know, should we also write about if we use AI in any way in our methodology? Like when we're writing up our methodology, should we also include the ways that we might use AI there, or only in the declaration form? Do you have a slide with the declaration form that we could take a look at?
I don't have the form here in the slides, but I have received the form, which I can share with you at the end of the workshop. I think again you could consult with your supervisor. They will provide a clearer guideline as to when and how should you have the AI declaration form filled out. So I think a supervisor is the best person here to advise. But I can share the AI declaration form at the end of the workshop, so that you have an idea how it works. Because what it basically says is that if there's been any usage of AI in your work, you need to clearly state which section of your research or study you've used AI and explain to what extent have you used AI. So yeah, I will share that form with Dr. Gabriel. He will share with everyone who was in this workshop.
Yes, Doc. Thank you so much for that. Whilst you are still on that, so now it even become very important for all the participants to complete that feedback survey, because that is where I will get the emails that I will communicate to you, sharing the documents that Dr. Madingiza would have shared with me. Thank you. So I've sent the feedback link in the chat box. So just complete that link, put your correct details, including the email address that I'll send the documents to. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Doc. Okay, we're going to proceed with the workshop and look at the assessment process and the oral defense. So after you've submitted your work, I guess most students ask themselves what happens next. So the assessment process, this is how it works. So the faculty office sends your PDF manuscript of your dissertation or thesis to the approved assessors. Assessors have 4 to 6 weeks to return their reports. So the 4 weeks is meant for the master's dissertation, and the 6 weeks is meant for the PhD thesis. So the non-assessing chair, they receive all the reports, they put them together, provide feedback, and make a recommendation to the faculty higher degree committee. And these, are the possible outcomes, based on how you did your study. So you could pass the study, could be even with a distinction if you've achieved 75% upwards. You could pass with minor corrections. Or you could, be required to resubmit your work after doing major revisions. In this instance, you can expect to re-register, for your qualification, and you are usually given 6 months to do the major revisions and resubmit. And here with the last one, well, this rarely happens, where students fail. At master's and PhD level, I've never heard of anyone failing, but it can happen. So I wish that none of you reach here. You don't want to fail, your studies. So these are the possible outcomes that you can expect after submitting. And then this next section, it's for the PhD students, where they need to do a compulsory oral defense. So this one is compulsory. It has to be done. It's usually done after your thesis has been assessed and returned back to you. So you will be busy with corrections. You submit your thesis, after correcting it, then afterwards you then expect to have an oral exam or an oral defense, where the assessors who are assessing your work, they get to discuss your work, ask you questions about your work. And the next slide provides details or as to what the oral defense is about. So the purpose of the oral defense is to demonstrate your independent mastery of the research, to also confirm the originality of your work and engage with experts in your field. So the panel consists of, the non-assessing chair, they chair, that panel, and you will have assessors, all 3 of them, those who are assessing your thesis. Remember, 2 of them are from South Africa, 1 of them has to come from an international country. Then, of course, you have your supervisor, but he's only, or he or she is only there as an observer. They don't really say much. So you, as a candidate, you are the one who has to answer all the questions which come from assessors. And normally, each and every assessor is given 3 questions, to ask the candidate, meaning that in total you can expect to be asked 9 questions pertaining to your study. And questions which assessors usually ask more about is their research methodology. They tend to be curious as to how you conducted your research. Their job is to make sure that you are the one who wrote the study. You didn't get anyone else to do the study on your behalf, or you didn't use AI, to do your study. And then the process of the oral defense is that it's typically held after, as I did mention that it's held after the reports have been received. Yes, you present a brief overview of your study, and then you answer questions from the panel. So should the students we have here want to me to send them a presentation of my own oral defense, I can do so that you can get an idea how to structure your oral defense. So what you should note here, which is very important, is that a failure to comply with the oral defense requirements will result in an incomplete result for the qualification. So it's very important that you comply with the oral defense. You have to be there, you have to be present, you have to answer all the questions, accordingly. The assessors have to be satisfied, with your answers. So we're going to move towards the end of the workshop, where we look at final submission and graduation, which everybody wants. We all want to graduate at the end of our studies. So these are the final steps. Once the Faculty Higher Degrees Committee for Masters, or the Senate for Higher Degrees Committee. So the Senate, this is the University Council, they are responsible for PhD studies. So once they've approved your results, you can proceed to the final steps. So these are the final steps towards graduating. Step number 1, you have to complete corrections. So your supervisor will provide you with the assessor's feedback to make the required corrections. Step number 2, you need to submit the final documents, which is the section F of the one-stop form, which is the last section of the one-stop form. So you need to write a letter confirming all of the corrections you have done in your master's, dissertation, or PhD thesis. And the supervisor and the non-assessing chair, they have to sign off that all changes have been made satisfactorily, using the one-stop form, which has to be accompanied by the letter coming from the student, which confirms all of the corrections done in their study. We're going to expand on this step number 2. So we're moving on to the next slide. So you need to submit a final version of your study in a PDF format. This is final, it's corrected. There won't be any further corrections after this one. So this one goes to the public. So you submit your dissertation or thesis in a PDF format, accompanied by an affidavit. So here you need to ensure the final version includes the signed and commissioned affidavit. So your affidavits, there's 2 of them. There's one which you have to complete when submitting your study for assessment. Then after your study has been assessed, you need to submit another one which says that you've done everything, you've done your corrections, and this is the final study. So it has to be accompanied by another affidavit. You also have to submit a library form, which is also, all these documents which I'm referring to here are available in the link, which I'll share at the end of the workshop. So there's a form which has to go to the library. So this form has to be completed, it has to be signed. And it is important here that you critically choose keywords which pertain to your study. So normally it's 6 keywords. So these are keywords which which people normally use when they search for certain topics, could be on Google or any research platforms. So you need to make sure that your keywords, they talk to your study. So it helps anyone researching around your topic to easily find your work. Another important thing is that articles have to be published, after you've submitted your final version of your dissertation or thesis. So for master's students, you need to publish one article. For PhD students, you need to publish 2 articles, or you need to have them ready for publication, before you graduate. Usually here, you would co-author with your supervisor, in these articles. Normally, for PhD, maybe your supervisor would say, can co-author in one of your articles, then the other one can publish it, independently. Here, I'll be drawing focus to the PhD candidates, is that in preparation for your graduation ceremony, you need to submit a CV or a bio, which consists of 100 words. I prefer calling it a bio because it's more narrative, than a CV. So you need to submit a 100-word bio. Actually, the bio which was read today before I started presenting by my doc here, Doc Gabriel, that's the very same bio which was used for my graduation ceremony. So you need to have this CV or bio, and you also need to have 150 words laudatio or an abstract, about your study. So this is a shorter version of the full abstract, which appears in your PhD thesis. So this is required in preparation for your graduation ceremony for PhD candidates. So next, we're going to move on to our last section of the workshop, which looks at the summary and takeaways. So what do you have to take home? What do you have to remember? So point number 1 is it is important that you use all the templates which I mentioned here. So you need to adhere strictly to the official faculty templates and formatting guidelines. Number 2, you need to plan ahead. You need to stick to the deadlines. I mentioned a deadline of 31st of October. That's when, if you're in your final year and you're expected to submit. Even deadlines for your proposal, if you're still new, to master's or PhD, you need to make sure that your proposals have been submitted within 6 months for master's, within 9 months for PhD. You need to make sure that you and a supervisor, you need to make sure that assessors have been nominated should you wish to submit for exams, and make sure that you don't leave anything, to the last minute. This quite becomes a habit. For some people, they tend to procrastinate doing things until the last minute, only to find that they've ran out of time. Now then they need to come up with excuses as to why they could not complete their work on time, which is something we don't want to see. Point number 3 is that the one-stop form which I was discussing is your friend. If you're unfamiliar with the form, it is available in the link which I'll share with you. You need to know what's happening, in that form. Actually, it's a guideline to you as a master's or PhD students. You will know clearly what's the next step, in your studies. So this form, it has to be used correctly for all administrative procedures. Point number 4, you need to be aware of plagiarism because it is a serious offense. So your work must be original, and it has to have an affidavit which you need to sign, because it's a legal declaration. And again, on top of this, I did talk about the AI declaration form. So I think that's going to be a new form which will be required when you submit, your study for examination. So for PhD students, point number 5 is that you need to be aware that your oral defense is compulsory. So you need to prepare for it. It's a key part of your assessment. This is when, it is decided if you are going to be a doctor or not. So this is very important to really do your your oral defense. I'm going to move on to the next slide. Look at point number 6. So with this point, this is obvious. It's given that you need to communicate all the time. So you need to maintain a regular contact with your supervisor. You know, they are your primary guide throughout this entire process. All the time, your supervisor is very important. You know, this is a person who will be helping you with your reference letters for work, you know, purposes. So you need to have a good relationship with your supervisor, you know, at all time. Don't disappear. Your supervisor might still find themselves searching for you, you know, so you need to always show up, you know, do your work, do your chapters, do your drafts, you know, communicate with the supervisor if you experience any challenges. So this is the link, which I think I'll ask Doc Gabriel to copy and paste it on the on our chats, so that can use it to access all the documents which I used, you know, in preparation for this workshop. So everything I said today is available under this link. So yeah, this marks the end of my presentation. So the last slide, it's, you know, for questions, and I've included my contact information. Should you want to send me an email, can call me, can WhatsApp me. You know, I'm available at the Auckland Park Kingsway campus in the Department of African Languages in B Ring 7. My office number is B Ring 730. Thank you so much for attending this workshop. I hope it has helped. I hope it has given you some light. You know, you can do it. You know, I just graduated last week, so it's possible for everyone to complete their qualifications and, you know, move on with their careers and grow, you know, in their careers. So thank you so much to the RCD team for organizing this. Thank you for the warm welcome from Gabriel. Yeah, I wish you all the best, you know, with this incredible academic journey. So I'm going to stay here for any questions. Thank you.
Doc, thank you so much. This was a very insightful presentation. Let me just see. Lawrence, are you here with me? Okay. I just want to allow the mics of all the attendees so that we can all engage. But also, I think this was very, you know, it was so good to hear from someone who recently graduated, you know, who have sort of walked through these processes, including the processes of oral defense and so on. I think all these would be very sort of useful to all those who have joined us for today's session. You know, I will open. I've already sort of enabled the mics for all the attendees. I'm just wrapping up that process so that we can all engage. I'll start with the hands that I've seen, you know, for some time. The first one is it's written awards. You can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, my name is Admaya Masugu. Thank you so much for the presentation. I think it clears quite a number of questions that we also had. And we had quite a number of complaints from our colleagues that are ahead of us in terms of the form. I think the correct form, I think that's one of the most contentious issues. I would really appreciate if it is said. But my question is, should I publish before I finish my PhD? Are those articles counted or not? Because once you start PhD, then sometimes you also get opportunities to publish. So I want to find out if I happen to publish before submitting my PhD, will those works be also accounted or included as part of my published work that is expected of me after submission?
Thank you so much for your question. In terms of articles published, I guess that will depend on your supervisor, because taking from experience with myself, I did publish 2 articles before completing my studies, but I came across a problem when I had to run the Turnitin report on my thesis. So yeah, there was an increase of plagiarism. It was a self-plagiarism because the articles were already out there, and these articles, from 2 chapters of my thesis. So I was advised to rework those chapters, unfortunately, to reduce the plagiarism percentage. And I had to prepare again new articles, unpublished articles, which I have to be published after I graduate. So that's the advice which I was given. But I guess it will differ per supervisor. In my case, I had to prepare 2 new articles, unpublished articles. So in terms of plagiarism, just need to be aware that if your articles, they come from the very same thesis and they're published before you complete your studies, if you run a plagiarism report on your thesis or dissertation, those articles will come up, as being plagiarized. So I guess your supervisor here, they will advise what's the best way forward. Thank you.
We can move on to ZQ.
Hi. Anyway, congratulations for graduating. That's amazing. And you're here helping us. Well done. I have, well, one of my questions, same as the previous person, is about the articles, but it was the other way around. Is what do they mean by ready for submission? It just means that, it doesn't mean it has to have been accepted, or does it just mean it has to be written? What does that mean?
Yes, well, it means that it has to meet the requirements, for example, of a journal article. So meaning that that drafted article can be sent out to possible journals, to have it published. So it refers to the format that your article must be written like a journal article, and it must meet requirements of a potential, journal. So that's what it means. So with this one, I do advise to publish your article once the exam process has taken place, regarding your thesis. That way it's safer, you won't get any high plagiarism percentage.
Yeah, that was a great answer to the previous question. So, because that's like so much extra work that happened to you because of that. That's not fair. And I do have another question. It was, if I'm not gonna make it like to submit now in September. I'm a PhD student. Can we submit at any time throughout the year, or is there a specific, or are there in the 2 semesters, are there 2 points when we can submit, or is it only in, what is it, September or something? And that's it. Well, I just needed to know that if it's only once a year, 1 month in the year that we can submit.
You can submit any time of the year, but within that year, by October, if it's a final year, you will be expected to submit. And then at times they do have late submissions, I think end of November. Then if you don't meet end of November, then you need to apply for extending your studies, or apply for an extension. Yeah, that's how it works. But you can submit any month of the year. You don't have to wait for October.
Okay, so yeah, I'm definitely gonna miss it this year. I don't feel it's not ready. So that just means that at any time next year when it's ready, it can be submitted and I can go to the Viva and everything. I just won't graduate till the end of the year.
Of course, yes. So you need to talk to your supervisor, and you need to fill out the one-stop form so that the faculty is aware that you won't meet the October deadline, but you'd like to have an extension. Then you motivate why you want to extend, your studies. Then there has to be a new date proposed as to when your work will be assessed.
Oh, I need to give a date. Okay. Yeah, because I do work part-time, but you said not to put that in. that's just going to make other complications, so I can't do that. The
Yeah,
reason is I do work part-time. Yeah.
I hear you. No, I think your supervisor is the best person to consult here, because with me, I'm just giving my general experience, with the process.
Mhm.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, welcome. All the best.
Thank you.
Thanks. I see we have another hand, Gabriel. Is Gabriel still with us? I saw a hand.
Yes, Doc. I see Eva. We have two hands. I'll start with Eva.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Eva, you can unmute yourself again and ask.
Okay, okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, great. So I have 3 questions. The first one has to do with the word limit. You mentioned that it excludes the cover page, but I want to find out, the preliminary pages like the abstract, the acknowledgements, maybe dedication, affidavit, and all. Is it also considered in the 80,000 words, or does it also exclude that in addition to the references?
Yeah, okay, let me just quickly answer that. Yeah, generally it's excluded. Maybe it may differ per supervisor, but with me, it was excluded. Yeah, so the word counting started with my chapter 1 and my 2 and all the way to the concluding chapter. So other pages outside that, yeah, they were excluded.
Okay, thank you. The second one, I want to find out with the viva, the oral defense, is it usually a face-to-face thing or online, or do you get to choose? What exactly is the mode?
Usually it's online. Yeah, I did mine online. Yeah, I did it in the comfort of my bedroom. They didn't see that I was on my bed. Yeah, so I think most of them are done online because some of these assessors, they come from international countries, so logistics and stuff. So it's easier if it's done online. So it's just online, but they want to see your face, as you engage with them.
Right. All right. Thank you. And my last question has to do with the assessors. You as a student, do you also have a say in determining who is your assessor, or that is strictly for the supervisor and the department? Thank you.
Yeah, okay. I'll answer that one. Yeah, no, with assessors, it's usually a supervisor who knows whom they've chosen. They never really tell you. I also wanted to know who are my assessors, but you never know until you meet them on the day of the oral defense. Yeah, so you'll never know who they are. Yeah.
All right, Doc. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for the questions. All the best.
I'll allow Damilola to ask your questions. Then I'll close the verbal ones. Then move on to the chat box to address the ones that have been sent in the chat box. So
no.
Damilola, you can unmute and ask your question.
Right. Hello.
Oh, hello, sir.
I just wanted some clarification on the affidavit. That's included in our final paper, right? Just to clarify, I'm a master's student currently in my 2nd year, and I'm close to wrapping up my paper. I just have some things I need to run over with my supervisor. But the affidavit, that's included in the final paper, right?
Yes, that's correct. Yes.
Right. I'm sorry. I'm just asking because I think this was the one component that I completely skipped over, and I haven't gotten around to drafting one. I'm thinking that I can ask my supervisor on advice concerning that, since I don't want to leave anything important out.
Yeah, I can send. I will send the affidavit together with my presentation. It's a form which you fill out, then you take to the Commissioner of Oaths, could be in the faculty. They just sign and stamp the documents. They don't need to see your study, or it can be done at the police station as well. So it's a form which you can attach, in your dissertation or thesis.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so you're welcome.
All right, Doc, let's just go over the chat box then so that we can address some questions that I've seen. I'll just go to the right to the top, just to move with all the questions that have been asked. Okay, good morning. Please share the recording. Okay, we'll do that. Please give, all right. Good morning. May I please also have the recording and presentation? This will be extremely. Please kindly enroll me. Okay, those who want to be enrolled, I think I've enrolled one or two, but I will enroll all of them. We have put their details here. If you want to be enrolled, just put your level of study. If it's master's coursework, say master's coursework, or doctoral student by research, master's by research, doctoral student, so that we know which community to enroll you to. Then provide us with your student number. Does word count include references, Doc, on the word count? Does it include references?
It excludes the reference list or bibliography. It's excluded.
Okay. Okay, please enroll me. We'll do that. Exclude references. Thanks, I missed that. So masters is 2 years for full time. Yes, that's correct. Yeah, it's 24 months for full time. Minimum is 12 months. Maximum is 24 months. For doctoral, minimum 24 months. Maximum for full time 36 months. For part time, maximum is 12 by 5. That's 60 months, isn't it?
5 years.
Right.
Yeah.
That's 5 years. Yeah. Then please include me. Okay, we'll do that. Then is it a must to include an affidavit form or page?
Yes, it's compulsory.
Okay, so that is answered. Does the word limit exclude references? That one has been addressed. Can you make the document available on Moodle or via email? Yes, my email. Okay, so for all those who want to receive any documents that Doc is going to share with us, please kindly fill in the feedback survey, because I'll just extract the emails from there. The contact details, I'll get them from there. Then I'll send you the documents. Give us your student number and level of study. Okay, that was from RCD. Please kindly enroll. Please enroll. Give us your student number. Okay, may I please have this recording? So it will be uploaded on our Moodle communities. So if you are not enrolled, then provide us with your details so that we enroll you on the community. Including your, because I see, may I please have this recording? Then it's just provide us with your details so that we enroll you on our Moodle community. Yes, please. Okay, masters, please send your oral defense to Danitab. The oral defense, Doc, are you sending it directly yourself?
Yeah, I will send the presentation. I'm not too sure of the video. I don't think I can access it. I do have the presentation, yeah.
Okay, so maybe we can share with them. So do they penalize if you exceeded the word count? Let's say you grossly exceeded more than the 10% margin. What happens?
I think it depends, between you and the supervisor. I don't think you would be penalized for that.
I also see, I haven't really seen it being an issue. And sometimes people do deviate from that by much, especially the mini dissertations one. You find someone is having like a full dissertation, but it's supposed to be mean. But I haven't really seen a concern around the word count. Yeah.
Actually, the more you write, the better.
The better. Yeah. So you have to do justice to all the chapters and to the topic itself. Yeah. So I just think so. Don't rush to conclude. Yeah. So just to be certain, all the documents presented here are available through the link shared. Is that correct, Dido?
Sorry, I didn't get that one.
He said, just to be certain, all the documents presented here are available through the link shared. That link that you said I must share.
Yeah, no, this is the very same link where I read all the documents which are used to prepare for the presentation.
There's one asking, please, does the slide include the affidavit? It wasn't in the slides, but I think you have already explained on the process of how to get the affidavit. Then
I will include the affidavit form as well when I send all the documents used today.
All right. Thank you, Doc. Then, okay, enrollment. After graduation, are you automatically affiliated to the university, or will you be an independent candidate to journal publications and conferences? It's asking after graduation. So, okay, what I know, according to the policies of the university, actually, the copyright of the thesis that you would have done, once you submit it, then it belongs to the university. So you do it with the affiliation of the university, of course, because they are the ones with the copyright of that. And according to the rules, you are supposed to publish before you even submit to the university. Sort of, because that's what the rule says when I was reading them sometime, but we submit after usually, but don't go with the research that you have done at UJ, then you publish it with another institution. Yeah, you can add on that also. Though.
Yeah, no, that's quite right. Again, it depends if you're a UJ staff, or well, if you are only a student. I do know that UJ does. There's an incentive which you will get after your work has been published using the UJ's name. So yeah, your work is it's UJ's work. It's UJ has the copyright of your research. That's how it works. Yeah.
Okay, then let me just hear. Okay, the other questions after graduation automatically, please enroll me. Okay, then can I ask if they offer extensions for submissions of PhD proposals?
Come again?
The question is that it's coming from Tumisang. Can I ask if they offer extensions for submission of PhD proposals?
Yes, but it has to be an exceptional circumstance. Maybe you were sick. Yeah. So you have to have a strong motivation, to be granted that extension. So yeah, you can extend your proposals to start submission. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I think that that brings us to the end of the questions on the chat. There's another one. Please show the link to all the documents. It's on the second last slide. I've that is the link that I've posted on the on the chat. Let me paste it again. Okay, no, let me just put back that link again, Doc, so that let me. Okay, here it is. I'm pasting the link again in the chat box. Okay, there's the link. I've pasted it. So I think that brings us to the end of the questions on the chat box. Let's just address one hand from Tsebisile. You can unmute yourself and ask.
Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, yes, you can hear you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So can I please just ask, it might be a question that you've covered. I had a problem with my network. So I want to please ask, so I'm using an article format and I'm doing first year masters. So I just wanted to ask if when I submit, I have to only submit the article and in their requirements, or also include a traditional format and then make an article out of that, because I've heard people say that.
Yeah, when it comes to the article format, I'm quite unfamiliar with that format, but I did see information regarding that format, under the link which I've just sent. So they do discuss how does the article format work. So please have a look at that, and also inquire with the supervisor. I'm unfamiliar with the article format. Yeah.
Maybe I can just add that on that one, just as a contribution. My experience from what I've seen, from others who do the article route, you still have to submit sort of a document that consists of all the papers that you've submitted, but also with an introduction and conclusion that speaks to sum up everything together. So what they do is that they introduce, it's like just like on a dissertation format, or a thesis format, but you are introducing. So you have an introductory chapter, then you present the papers that you have done, then you have a concluding chapter. You know, so you see others, they call them essays on something, then they provide them in sort of a one document that you submit, including in the repository of the library. Because to the library, you don't submit individual papers or link to the papers because they've already been published by journals. So you submit that like a thesis, let's just say a thesis document, but consisting of your papers and an introduction and conclusion. So on that one, normally after every chapter they put the references as well. After every presenting, yeah. So for chapter 1, they put so after every chapter, then they present like references, that a list of references for in-text citations. Yeah.
No, thank you so much, Doc, for that.
Okay. So Doc, I think this brings us to the end of our session for today. Thank you so much for taking your time, to agree to prepare and facilitate for the session for today. It has been a very informative session. I think it's a really insightful and useful for the participants and for those who are candidates for different postgraduate degree programs. So I would also want to just remind the participants that I've shared the feedback survey in the chat box. I'll share it again for your access. So I'm hoping that you complete it. I'll get the information to share with you, the documents that Doc is going to share with me through the contact details, specifically the emails that I'll get from the feedback survey, and we'll also use it for your details to sort of harvest the details that we use when we are now creating your certificate of attendance for this session. So I want also to remind you to register on the RCDMS. On RCDMS, that is the system that we will be migrating to, fully migrating to. So if you want to continue, we have be part of these workshops, use our services like writing consultation services, participate in our events like the 3-minute thesis, competition, the institutional one that we are going to hold that will be held on the 30th, on the 29th, sorry, of August, this month, this year. Please just register on the RCDMS system. And with that said, Doc, if there's anything that you would want to say, as your concluding remarks, then I'll move on to concluding this session.
Yes. No, before we leave, I'm just going through the questions which we received, and there's 4 questions asked by Zwandi de Sutole, which I will attempt to respond to. So his first question is there an expected limit in using AI? I'm not quite too sure with this one, but I think the form which I will share, it provides a guideline as to what extent you can use AI. I think what we should take note with the AI is that your ideas of your research, they have to come to you. You have to be the original author instead of using AI. So that's where the danger of AI comes in, is when you rely on it to think for you on your behalf. So you must be the original author, before engaging with AI. The inception of your research ideas, they have to come from you. And his second question says, what are the consequences of the over usage of AI? This can result to a high plagiarism percentage, because what AI usually does is that it gathers all of the published material throughout the world and reproduces it as its own. So you can, it's really seen as plagiarism. If you really use AI a lot, it will show in your work that whatever AI is mentioning there, it has been mentioned by authors who've published that research before. Then the third question is Grammarly, I think he is referring to the writing tool, is Grammarly considered an AI? Yes, Grammarly, it is an AI tool, but it's not, what do they say? They call it a LLM, a large language learning module. So what's different between Grammarly and AI is that Grammarly only assists in polishing your writing. So with Grammarly, you insert a document which you've already written, and Grammarly will help polish the document, edit the document. That's what it basically does. It doesn't really do the thinking for you like you would find with ChatGPT and other large learning. What do they call them? There's a term which they refer to, the ChatGPTs.
Large language models, or something like that.
That's what I'm looking for. Yes. So I think Grammarly is different from ChatGPT, but it is open for discussion. I think other students and colleagues can comment on that one. And then number 4 is asking if the supervisor's name should it appear first on the article. I'm not too sure. I don't think it matters, but I think as the main author of your work, you should appear first, then your supervisor, after you. But again, it can be discussed with your supervisor. I guess maybe it's a matter of, the weight your supervisor's name carries in your work. So if his name appears first in your research article, I guess it may be used as a crowd puller, for that study. But again, these questions are quite open for discussion. I'm not of AI. Yeah.
I think the one of supervisor, of course, but I think the general norm is just because the study is your study, so you are the first author of the study. And on the issue of Grammarly, I've also encountered the same question, in the presentation that I've made before as well, where Grammarly, there are questions surrounding whether should it be also is it appropriate for us to use it. But the university do subscribe for us to use that it is a tool, but mainly for editing purposes. I would think even the other generative AI tools as well, like maybe ChatGPT, for example, and others, they can also be used for trying to see maybe sort of the editing, proofing of your work, but using them for generating maybe ideas, and now for them to write for yourself, then now that is another completely sort of a different sphere now. Is it? Yeah.
Of course. No, just to add, on top of using Grammarly, you can use Trinker as well, which is also advocated by UJ. So under the UJ library website, you can sign up for Trinker. It's quite more than Grammarly. It's actually for academic writing, so it does help with getting your work edited and polishing, your English. So please use Trinker, as well.
Including the Microsoft Office as well, because you can use the review tab on Microsoft Office for you to check your spellings, grammar as well. So this is just these are tools for grammatical and spelling error checks, so as the use of Grammarly as well for that particular purpose.
Of course, yes.
Doc, thank you for these questions. I overlooked them. I don't know how I skipped these ones. Maybe through when you go out, then you try to come back as well. I just started at another point, but I had come across them before, and these are very important questions. I don't know maybe if there's anything that the participants would want to add to the discussion we had, and if there's nothing, then I can move on to closing the session. Okay, I see no indication. So once again, Doc, thank you so much for taking your time to facilitate this session. And for those who have participated in the session, thank you so much. We enjoy the support that you give us, and also the support that we give you as the the postgraduate students from the faculty of humanities. With all this said, I wish I'm going to end the session and wish all of you a great day further. Thank you.
Thank you, Doc, and thank you for the patience.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.